So we're gonna start off today with a bit of a tutorial on how I actually make my decoden glue. I've got a couple different ones that I make regularly. One of them really isn't making, it's just adding in the silicone. And the other one is a bunch of add-ons, and we're gonna try adding another item in from what I would normally do, because I would like to see glossiness. My opaque whip that I've made so far has regularly been matte, and sometimes we want gloss. We're gonna play around with a formula that should give us some gloss as well today. That'll be a little bit different. There's only a few tutorials out there I've found for making decoden whip, so I figured I would do a video on how I make it and what I use, because I do it a bit different from everything I've seen. So, that said, I'm going to go over what that we use for it. You're going to want to start with a container to mix your silicone in. You can try and mix it inside of your bag, but that's messy, it's a pain in the butt, and I've done that enough times now to know that's not going to work really well. Always a good idea to have a wet cloth handy. I do not have a wet cloth. I have a couple dry cloths. You're going to want your dye. You can either use mica powder, that's what most people use, and that's because if you use a gel or a liquid dye, if you put too much in, it's either going to seize or it's going to come out way too runny. I have not had it seize, I've just had it come out really runny. But I actually do use food coloring, and part of the reason is because I do use different products from what most people use for this. So in general, when people make silicone whip, they use EE Advanced Silicone 2, and I don't. I actually use, grab it. I use this stuff. This gets all the stuff, and it's because of the acrylic latex that I'm able to use food dye. And I don't use the liquid food dye, I use the Wilton gel stuff. Here's one of them. And that turns out really pretty. I've actually got a few examples I can grab later to show what exactly that looks like. So, I use that, and to make sure it hardens and it sticks and it's not going anywhere as long as I'm doing an opaque, this is the spackle I use, which helps speed up the dry time quite a bit. Oh, this goes on pink, dries white. This is not what I usually do. Normally I do white. So this is gonna be fun mixing my colors, and I messed up. I didn't pay attention when I grabbed this. This is gonna be a little bit different. See what we're looking at here. We're going a little off the plan here. Whoops. This is pink. We're gonna have to just trust with my opaque colors that they come out the way I want, since I goofed and I got the pink. But normally I do the dry decks without the dry time indicator. So that's what I typically use. I'm actually trying a different formula because I have had a couple of things that I've made fall apart a bit more than I would like to see. Like, you don't want to see them fall apart at all. But I'm still kind of new, and I expect to have one or two mistakes till I get it, like, just down. Well, one of my managers bought one of my badge holders, and it fell apart before the night was over on him. And there was contributing factors, but you know, things that he could have done that would have helped preserve it more, but ultimately it didn't hold the way it should have. And that was one of my translucent ones that was also using the DAP Alex translucent. Now I have in the past used the G silicone too and not had that issue with those badge holders, so I think for translucent, I'm gonna need to stick to the GE, potentially. But we're also going to give a different formula of DAP stuff. We're gonna try this today. We're gonna mix this in. So we're gonna start with opaque, and then we're gonna play around with translucent. We're gonna mix a bunch of different colors up, and then if I still have time afterwards, we're gonna get into probably doing some badge holders or some jaw clips. I don't think I have anything planned out as far as phone cases right now. I do have one more thing to finish up, and that was I bought new gel colors because I had a few colors that I was missing that I wanted. So I went and grabbed those, and I was getting those open, and then I realized what time it was, and it's like, oh, we're running late. I need to get going. So I'll open these, and I'm just down to the last one. After that, we're gonna go ahead and start mixing and spraying around this dang pink stuff. It definitely complicates things a bit. Just a bit. Other supplies a person needs when they're doing decoden. You're gonna want to have an icing scraper to scrape the icing down towards the tip of your piping bags. You're gonna want tips for your bags. Oh, here. I actually got this at Dollar Tree. Super cheap. You don't need anything fancy. You could use a credit card to push the whip down into the bottom of your piping bag. You're gonna want piping tips with adapters, and the way this works, grab a bag, and we'll do a demonstration on this. People who have never in their life piped anything, which is a lot of people. I hadn't actually piped anything before I started doing this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this part, you're gonna throw it in your bag, you're gonna put it all the way down in the top tip. And this works for both regular sized and for jumbo. You'll need a different adapter for the jumbo size tips. You can get them at bakeries. Occasionally you can find them at Walmart. You might find them at Dollar Tree, but I wouldn't recommend them. They're really low quality. You can of course get them on Amazon or your craft store in the baking section. So take the adapter, really squeeze it in there. You're gonna snip off the tip here, throw on your tip, and screw it, which secures it. Now, far as where the icing goes when you do this, or the whip, you don't want to put it directly in this bag. You're going to end up with a mess. You're going to end up having issues when you need to change stuff out, which inevitably you're going to be changing stuff out. So you set this up, and then you're going to put your whip in a separate icing bag that you're going to throw inside this bag. That way you can remove it with ease. It makes cleanup really easy, makes reusing the bags a lot easier. And you have less waste because you can actually store it also. Kind of a big deal. So this is a 16-inch bag. I was using 12-inch bags before and getting frustrated because I was running through my formula so fast. We're going for a 16-inch bag this time. You can get bags in a variety of sizes, or you can get reusable or disposable. Up to you on that. I wanted reusable. At some point I might get frustrated and just go disposable. But you can also find, if you're gonna go disposable, I do recommend going to either a bakery or just hitting off an online retailer for that. First, you're gonna want tweezers, which is important for placing your charms. It's much easier to use the elbow tweezers. As far as jumbo tips, this is what a jumbo tip looks like. Not everybody works with this size. I did my first case using a jumbo tip the other day. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but it looks cool. far as closing up your bags, you got your options. You can use decorating bag ties, or another thing you can use is bag ties, like the little twist ties. You can use those. As far as mixing, you're gonna want a spatula, and you're gonna want an icing spatula, which you can use to scoop your whip into your bag. So, we're gonna start scooping stuff in, and oh, you're also gonna need a caulking gun because you are working with caulk. You want an appropriate sized caulking gun, simple to use. If you don't know how to use them, you can buy them with them already extended like that. You're just gonna grab this bit here, left back. You can snip the tip on most of them right here. So you would put the tip of your caulking tube here, pull this, snips the tip, pull up and then you would take the caulk, load it in, push this down, and then squeeze. And when it's time to store, I will show you what I use for storing my caulk and when it's still in tube so I don't lose it there. A lot of people lose that. A lot of people just toss it out. So, better thing. We're gonna start with my old formula because I do have this and it has been really good. So what I have been using and has worked fine for my opaque ones is DAP all-purpose acrylic latex caulk plus silicone. It does not seem to work as well for translucent colors if you get their clear. I've had some problems with that, but for opaques, this has worked really, really good for me. I would also suggest that when you get your spackle, you do not get the stuff that's colored pink that has the dry time indicator. That's going to throw you off when you dye it. We're going to see that today because I messed up and I got the pink. Which is really unfortunate. We're going to pipe a whole bunch of this. Since I have the 16-inch bags, I can fit more in. If you are wanting more vibrant colors out of your whip, I strongly suggest using mica. It does get to be expensive. I am still looking for a retailer that's good for that. If you want black, just buy black caulk, okay? Save yourself the trouble. No, we're just gonna empty this out. I'm gonna go with the color that I realized I haven't really been using, despite the fact it's my favorite color. I have not used a lot of purple. I went through, when I was getting stuff set up on my website, and I looked at all the different colors I had, and it's peach and light blue. Not saying there's anything wrong with those colors, it's just shocking that I didn't use my favorite color as much as I thought. Got what? One case. And one badge holder. So, we'll see. This is done. So after this, we are trying we're trying a different DAP formula. We're gonna see how well this stuff works out. I did talk to the people at Lowe's, explained to them what I'm doing, what I need it to do. We will see how that works. We're gonna start with this. This is the unfortunate mistake. Like I said, you want to get the white stuff. I messed up, got the stuff with the dry indicator. This is also DAP. I like to keep stuff within the same brand family when I do stuff. But yeah. Dry deck, spackling. We're gonna scoop a bit. God. This makes me so nervous because it's gonna throw off what the color looks like to me. And you folks too that are watching. Close that up. Alright. And let's get... Gonna go with violet, because we're going for a lavender, which is gonna be interesting, given the pink that's already in here. That really mess with me until it's all the way dry. But that can sometimes be fun, too, watching the colors change. One things that I was dealing with the DAP Alex Clear is when you pipe it out, it is still opaque. So watching that cure through the week has been a thing in and of itself when I use my translucent. Good. I'm not gonna use a lot, so I actually use my my frosting spatula to get a rough measure. That is probably way more than we need for a lavender, but we're gonna go with it. That off. Also, highly suggest you work in a ventilated space. Because yes, this is low odor, but low odor is not no odor. May have been a little too conservative with the purple there. That is too conservative. I am using Wilton gel icing. It's one of the reasons why I've been going with the formula of caulk that I do, so that I can get away with using food coloring. But again, that works best for pastels. It's not gonna work great for, if you're wanting something bright or vibrant or dark. Which I learned when I decided I was gonna mix up my black. Came out very, very runny. That should be more like it. And now for the nerve-wracking part of mixing in pink. We got enough of the purple mixed into the actual silicone without the spackle to have an idea of where it's gonna be. Now, it does dry darker. This happened every time. I am using DAP Alex, which is acrylic latex plus silicone. It is lower odor. It does still have a smell. It does not have a smell once it has dried. And I don't mind the smell. I mean, I used to dye my hair all the time. I used to go to the nail salon all the time. So, for me, this is... Well, I went to school for cosmetology, so I was around the fumes that they have for perms. And let me tell you, on the one hand, it is great that people don't get perms the way they used to, for many, 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 many reasons. You know, hair health. They have changed the formula, so it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but I got so used to those fumes, and it's crazy that it has never been a recommended thing to wear a mask when doing permanents or when doing hair dye. You know, like I said, formulas have gotten better. They don't have as much smell, but if you are bleaching your hair or lightening your hair or anything else, it is still gonna smell. They have not figured that one out. It's the peroxide and everything else that goes in it to make it work. Alright, this is set here. We've shown how to put one of these together. We're gonna load up a separate bag. And then we're gonna close it up because I want to get a bunch of colors made today. I ran pretty low. I got purple all over my hand. So, for reference, this is what I've got left of my opaques. Teal, light blue, hot pink, black, and peach. This is a very runny black. It is great for liquid effect. And then I've got my translucent yellow, hot pink, and peach. Really, really ran through everything. Now, yeah, yep. First time I opened my royal blue, I spent 3 days. I don't know what I got it on, but I got it on something in my room, and I kept brushing against it wherever it was, and just blue, constantly blue. Could not escape it. Maybe that's part of why all my stuff, why so many of my projects since have been blue, is just get this out, I'm mad. You know, you ever worked with a color because you were mad at it? I was mad at blue. I was like, I want this out. And even at that, what did I still have left? I still had a blue left. So, we are going to change this formula a little bit because I want glossy. That's what I've been missing so far. I have very, very matte pieces. If you want to see how my stuff has came out so far, I have an Instagram account where I post that stuff at Cute Cake Cases. We are going to go ahead and get this started up. I'm going to use clear Elmer's glue because we are going as frugal as possible. I mean, yes, I do plan on opening a business doing this stuff, but that just makes it even more important. I find stuff that works well, that does not cost me an arm and a leg because I'm gonna have to deal with the taxes and, thank God, not payroll. I got the tweezers off of Temu, but you can find them at most craft hobby shops. If you're looking for a site to get stuff super, super cheap and you don't mind a longer wait, though, Temu's good. We're gonna pour just a little bit. We're gonna eyeball it. I hope that's enough. Oh, boy. We now have glue all over the hands. We are not gonna, talk about what else that could look like. Yeah. Oh, look, glue. Yep. Glue, which has been sourced from so many different interesting sources through time. It on lid. Sometimes I struggle with the most simple things, like getting lids on glue. All the way on. Did I get most of the glue? I did get most of the glue. I decided that. Alright, so we're gonna mix that in. I'm gonna check the consistency afterwards. If it feels thin, we're gonna throw in a bit more spackle. You don't want it too thin, or kind of like piping with warm icing. If it does not have the right stiffness, you are gonna end up with peaks and stuff that don't hold. You're not gonna get the shape that you want. And I know my child's heart broke when they saw that I bought glue and they found out that it was not for making slime. Although this does look like the fluffy slimes of it, doesn't it? A little bit. Doesn't make the noises, though. What are we dealing with here? That might be too thin. Yeah. Well, I mean, any of the slime sticks all over everything. Now, there's two ways a person could go about it when it's thin like this. You could wait a bit and let it thicken on its own, because it will thicken over time, even properly sealed up, because it will start drying a bit. Or you can add more spackle. I'm actually going to see how this turns out. I suspect this might still be fine. Ideally, when you load your bags, I'm kind of limited on space, but ideally when you load your bags, you're gonna want a container to put the bag in to fold over the top and make it a lot easier. See if I do that. I don't have anything currently to facilitate that, so we're gonna be doing this a little bit messy here. Harder way. Fold bag open. This can be one of the advantages of doing a larger bag. I'll have more room to actually throw stuff in. We made lavender cream. Yep. Which surprisingly did not have as much pink as I thought it would have, despite using the dry indicator spackle on accident. I did not pay attention when I picked it up at the store yesterday. I was excited about my other stuff that I picked up, so... And from there, we just throw it in, scrape as much of it out. We want to grab as much product as possible so we can use as much as possible instead of waste. The great thing about the DAP Alex that I've been using is it is washable while it has not cured. What is that? So it's decadent cream, which is used for decorating top loaders. It can be used to decorate mirrors, phone cases, pop sockets, really anything. I plan on decorating my car's license plate holder once I get the charms I want. And decadent actually comes from a Japanese subculture called Gyaru, which is very much about taking things and just making it as cute as possible. It is silicone based. I use DAP Alex, which is acrylic latex plus silicone, but most people just use straight acrylic with some spackle mixed in, air dry clay, and glue. I pick mine up, the DAP I've been picking up at Harbor Freight. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot, as well as any major online retailer that has home repair supplies available. The most hardware stores, you can get it at Ace. You can find some at Dollar Tree. I don't know if it is the same quality. It's Dollar Tree. So yeah, now if you want to practice and see if this is something you enjoy doing, you can go to Michael's, or I think you might be able to find it online at Joann's, and you can pick up, it's over near the resin usually, but you can pick up some clay whip there. It's so runny. That's what I thought. I don't use mica for color because of the formula I use. I'm able to use food coloring without it cracking or anything like that. So I actually use Wilton gel dye, but most people do use mica. If you want bright, bold colors, you're still going to want to use mica with this stuff. Because of the amount that it takes to color it when you're doing opaques. You don't need to worry about it so much if you're working with the translucent, because it picks up the color very, very, very quickly. So, we've scraped this pretty good. We could probably get a little bit more out. Hey, no problem. Far as tips and advice, there are a couple blogs out there that are also really good. If you spend time on Tumblr, there's a tip and advice blog. Hasn't really posted much since like 2016, but it's out there. Oh, that's decent. Because the stuff I use, I don't need to use mineral spirits to clean this up. I can use warm water and soap, or even better, hot water. That's one of the great things about that, but that's also one of the drawbacks with cases and stuff made with this, is unless it has fully cured, you do not want it in the water at all, or it will disintegrate. Because it's kind of formulated to do that. So, got this stuff all in here. Now pull it out. You want to make sure your edges on your piping bag are as flat as possible, otherwise you're going to end up potentially ripping holes in along the seams. And then you're going to need to peel it all into another bag. Once you've got it in, you want to push it all down, as far down as it will go. You want to remove as much air as possible. Air is your enemy if you're wanting to save it for later. Okay, push this down. Now, if you're nervous about air at the tip of the bag, you can remedy that as well. Just put a small snip in the bag at the tip, the smallest tip. Now you got that air out. You can actually push stuff further down. I wouldn't go too far because you're going to want to turn that over. This is how you keep it from drying out after you've snipped that. I use whatever bags I can get a hold of. These ones, this one here, I got at Walmart, which is, this was theirs. But I have also grabbed the Wilton bags. And then there was another one that, I'm not sure what brand it was or anything. It was from my mother. She said, hey, since you're doing this thing, I have these things that that I just don't use. Why don't you take them off my hands? Sure, Mom. I do like to stick with bags that you can see the colors. This is a really, really pale purple. Like a lavender milk purple even, I'd say. It was. My mom is huge into crafting herself. She does her own really, really cool stuff, but she's never worked up the courage to offer it for sale or anything. She does it one-on-one basis for like Christmas and birthdays and holidays, and got so many grandchildren that last couple of years it's gotten a little rougher. So she's looking for excuses to back down, and it's like, Mom, we appreciate it, but we also understand the amount of work, and nobody's gonna be mad if you don't send a card for every birthday, every holiday, every life happening. And the other thing is, she's brought up potentially trying to do her card making and scrap journaling and stuff as a business, but she thinks she gets nervous about whether or not people would buy it. And there's yeah. Oh yeah, it is. We are gonna tie this off. Since I spent money on the fancy ties, we're gonna use the fancy ties. You do not need the fancy ties to do this. You can use regular bag ties. You do want it to be the twist ties though. You don't want to do the little clippy ones like you get off of bread, because they just don't seal well enough. I mean, look at what happens to your bread. Yes, there's a lot of moisture in the bread, and if you're doing this right, you're getting a formula that's gonna be mold and mildew resistant. That's why we use caulk. Oh, here we go. There's one bag. All done. We're gonna do a few more colors, and then we are gonna do... Are the fancy ones... These? Yes, they are reusable. They're just as reusable as the twist ties are. Oh, got that end done. Gonna twist this end. Depends on what I'm working on. If I want translucent, my first set of badge holders I did were all using GE Advanced Silicone 2, which is 100% silicone, and I have not had issues with those. And then I switched formula to DAP Alex, which is acrylic latex plus silicone, and I have had a few issues with that, so we're probably switching back to 100% silicone. I've actually picked up another formula we're gonna try. I just wrapped up the last tube I had of the DAP Alex Opaque White, which is just fine. I have not had any issues with that. Yeah, that's all ready. That's how you seal it up. You're gonna do the same thing for sealing it after you've used it. This is how you get the most use out of it. Set that aside, we're gonna mix a bunch more colors. But we're gonna start with this stuff. With, I guess, a little bit of the other stuff mixed in. So I'm gonna take a moment real fast to go clean this out because I do not want purple. I want a clean palette when I add in my next color. I think we might do pink. We might do pink. I've got red and I've got the rose, which the rose is where the hot pink on my current stuff is from. Like, you want a good 80s pink, go grab Wilton Gel Food Coloring in Rose. There's your 80s pink. Like 80s hot pink, not 80s pink. That's different too. That's like leaning towards salmon, but not quite salmon. Somewhere between salmon and rose. Anyways, be right back. Friends, if that had been pure silicone, I would probably still be washing my container. This is already done. It's cleaned, it's dried. Like I said, you do want to use a little bit of soap and warm to hot water when you rinse it out. That's going to help break it up so that you don't end up clogging up your pipes. You do not want to clog your pipes. We're going to give this stuff a try. This is a new formula for me. I did talk to the people over at the hardware store before I bought it. I was like, look, this is what I'm looking to do. This is how I need it to behave. This is what I'm doing with it. This is what I'm adding into it. So, I guess for people who have never opened a tube of caulk before, like I said, you get your caulk gun. They almost all have this hole right here. Stick the tip in, pull trigger. Now we're open. I'll make sure you've pulled that all the way back. This was $10 and some change plus tax. Versus what I usually grab, which is like $3.34 or something at Harbor Freight. Does this need... This one needs puncturing. Okay. Some tubes you get need puncturing. You need to puncture it after you have snipped the tip. Most caulk guns come with the stuff to do that as well. This little bit here. I like to clean mine off. You don't clean it off, you end up with a very messy mess. Really no other way to say it. I take it, tap it in. I like to tap it a few times, just be sure. Wipe it off. We don't end up with a mess anywhere. If you do use it for a lot of stuff and it gets built up, you can wait for it to partially dry and silicone or whatever debris you've gotten on it will rub off pretty easily. Alternatively, you can use mineral spirits as well. Ooh, This stuff's a thicker squeeze. Oh. Looks more runny. Definitely higher gloss. So we are gonna do 2 different formulas that we'll work with this today. We'll do one without glue added in and one with glue added in, because I suspect I may not need to add in clear glue for this stuff for the glossy look. It'd be great. And I think we will mix the food coloring in before we mix in the spackle, since I have the stuff that has the dry time indicator. I just don't want to take the risk. Alright, so, one other things. We've got this. We've got all this runny stuff. We leave it as is, it's going to keep pumping it out. So we hit the little trigger at the back. Pull it back. Make sure that you've got the wiggle room to pull it out. And then you can pick these up at any hardware store, really. You're going to insert the spike here into the hole. Push it all the way down. And that is going to save your tube. For the cases that are done with the clear look, that is 100% silicone. Like I said, I did have a version of the DAP Alex that was that dries translucent. It does not go on translucent. First time I used it, it freaked me out because it came out opaque, and I was like, what the hell? This is wrong. The tube said clear, it came out white, and a week later, my case had cured all the way, and it's... Let me show you this case. Let me grab this case real quick, because it came out awesome. My favorite case, and I alternate between being proud of myself for not using a case that's compatible with my phone, so that I don't hold on to it and I do actually sell it, and being mad that I didn't make it for my case and the fact that I'm gonna have to sell it and I can't keep it. Small business life, right? I probably should have brought those closer to be able to get to, and so I'm not having to do weird stuff like step on my chair to get over to it. Oh, it's the case. I think there's a filter on. Hold on. Done. It did! Ease. But yeah. You can see, moving the hand, it's translucent, it's got glitter. This is what it looks like on the other side, so you can see where the contact points are for each charm that's put in. You see how little actually is in contact to hold it, but it's been holding really, really good. Oh. This one's gonna break my heart when it goes. But also it needs to, so I don't keep beating myself. This is for an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Oh. Let's throw some dye on this. Gonna make some pink. And then we're gonna add a different pink. I think we'll do a little bit more. That's a lot bit more. Should be good. What do I ask for mine? It depends on the case. That case, because the charms were special ordered and they were expensive charms, that case is gonna be $70. most of my cases, if it's something I design, will be between $40 and $45. I do have one case that will be going up on clearance because I made an oopsie during cure time, and it has some defects, which are noted, and I will be taking photos of the particular defects to go up with that listing on my website once it actually launches as well, so that if a person does decide to buy that case, there is no illusion on what's wrong with it. You know exactly what it is. Far as customs, the base price is gonna be $50, and then if it's special order charms, and you know, if it's not a whole lot for the charms, I'm not gonna charge extra. But if it's like $20-$30 more, then that is something that the customer is gonna have to pay for, because that's a lot on top of the charms and everything else that goes into it. What kind of cream? This is decoden cream that I am making. We are starting with the face stuff, getting the color in. We will be throwing in some spackle and a bit of glue. I do not use air whip clay or air dry clay. I'm really liking this. This feels like marshmallow. This is like Jet Puff marshmallows. Kind of low-key hungry now, which means you're doing it right. If you're doing decadent and you're not getting hungry. Yeah, so for the color, I use Wilton gel color, and this is their pink. Did not use a whole lot at all. We might add a bit more. I don't know. I might want a brighter pink. This is cream glue that we are making. I am making all my color batches. Normally, I decided last week that I wasn't going to do it as part of my stream because I was making it as I went along previously. And then the week that I decide that I'm not doing that, I get people requesting a video on how I make it. Far as the process, so I'm actually live streaming not just on TikTok but on Twitch as well, and I will be uploading this to YouTube. It should be available by next week. I gotta do minor edits here and there, per usual. And I do work full-time elsewhere right now, so, and I'm a single parent, so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So yeah, the process is available. So normally I use DAP Alex Plus, which is acrylic latex plus silicone, and DAP's fast dry spackle, but I don't usually do the one with the dry indicator. The one I grabbed this time does have the dry indicator. And that's what I usually do, unless I am doing translucent. If it's translucent, I don't add any spackle and I just do it straight. Yeah. But I'm finding that the DAP Alex is not great for translucent. So we're trying a different formula today. We're using a thing. How does it use? So the opaque usually takes 3 to 4 days to dry. And the translucent can take a week or longer. So, but we're trying a different formula. This is what we're using today. This is what we have in with the dye currently. We are going to see how well this holds up. I'm looking for different products to use because I want to be able to continue using food dye to do this. So, this is what we're using now. And we are going to throw in some spackle. This does not look like nearly as much as what I did. All the door noises was a kiddo coming and going because they need their jacket. They're going to be going outside. Alright, so as I was saying, normally I get DAP's Fast Dry Spackle. Tubs in a tub similar to this. Look for the one that does not have the pink on the label. Okay, the pink on the label is because it has the dry time indicator. It's pink. There is, I mean, you're dealing with silicone, you're dealing with latex, you're dealing with acrylic. There is always, you're dealing with chemicals. So there's always going to be some degree of smell to it. If you get GE silicone, just regular silicone, it has a very, very strong pungent odor. People have mentioned this for years. GE2 does not have nearly as much. This has even less, that from what I've found. I would love to see if it would be possible to add some sort of fragrance, but you couldn't do oil-based, and that's where I get a little messed up. But I think a little bit of fragrance could be alright, maybe. Not sure that would be the smartest thing in the world. I'll wipe this off on the side a bit. We'll see a little bit of color change because there's still some dye left on the spatula, but we're going to move the spatula out of the way so that we can use the bigger spatula to get the dry decks. And then we are going to gauge the texture from there. We're making decoden cream, which can be used to decorate all sorts of things. You can decorate brushes, compact mirrors, jewelry boxes, hand mirrors, phone cases. I do badge holders for IDs. We've got a 50-50 mix, which is what I like to do. It's part of why my stuff dries as hard as it does. Like, really, really hard. I'll grab one of my other cases after I'm done getting this all mixed together to show my cases that does not have the translucent. I have a couple cases that are nothing but the opaque whip. Really, really like those. Really, really like those. So I've already decided one of my common theme designs is going to be a Victorian-inspired one. You're gonna purchase them. Yeah, I mean, you can purchase them. If you haven't tried it before, purchasing some is a good way to find out if this is something you enjoy doing. If you enjoy decorating cakes, though, like doing icing and piping icing on, something you probably would enjoy anyways. It's very, very similar. We're just not decorating cakes. We're decorating all sorts of other things. And you add in charms and rhinestones and beads. You can even use vinyl charms like you would use to make gibbets for Crocs. If you want advice on places to buy charms, I've got a few places that I prefer going for purchasing charms. If you want to purchase your decadent whip, because mixing it up isn't for everyone, there are also a few places that there's one or two places I found that are really good reputation with their stuff that I can recommend as well. But if you do the TikTok shop thing and you're looking for charms and you just want a handful or stuff, Charms ASMR or Charms Addiction are where I get my small batch charms. If you want large batch charms, there's wingcharms.com that you can go to, and what was the other site? Another one. I'd have to pull the other one up later. If you go to my bio, I should have either a link tree or a bio card that links my Discord, and I can actually get more information and save it there. From Dazzling DIY, that's Gigi, right, honey? I think that's Gigi. I do have a set that I ordered from there recently, and I'm waiting for those to come in to see how those compare. And honestly, I'm excited for the tie set because it comes with cufflinks and stuff. And cufflinks can be expensive, so like, charms plus a nice tie and cufflinks? Yes, please. That's Faye, Rachel, Lola, and Jerry. Okay, so I haven't checked out Dazzling DIY. I think I've stopped in once and watched for a bit, but I do moderate for one of the other channels I mentioned. Wow, this has gotten so much thicker. That is really thick. Dazzling DI also sells cream glue. That is good to know. That's good to know. Another place you can go for charms? Keychains. Keychains are great for charms. I want to show you something cool I did when I got a hold of unicorn keychains. And this is going to be one of my other running things that I do. The vinyl keychains are great. Vinyl keychains that come with a strap are even cooler. Because I haven't seen a decoden case yet that comes with a strap. Now the thing I did learn is when you do this, you want to be mindful of where you put your larger charms. Super DH Factory, I watched them a lot. I have not ordered. They have just so much stuff to choose from. It's honestly overwhelming. Yeah. And this is a good example of using both my translucent stuff and my opaque. Like I said, my opaque stuff that I've been using up till now has been very, very matte. Great if you like a matte look. But if you want a glossy look, we're looking for how to fix that up. So, yeah. Love this one. This is going to be one's on sale on my site. So this plus a Victorian-inspired design that I have will be my two. Okay, these are my kind of my signature thing. Yeah, I love the strap idea. I'm trying to figure out how I would incorporate that into my other signature design, because I've already decided this is doing the strap is going to be one of my things. And I don't mind if other people take the idea. You could do it with beaded bracelets and stuff too. DIY Lizzie. Now that DIY Lizzie is Gigi. Yes, I do use spackle. I do use spackle. Only for Saturdays? I must have caught her on a Saturday then last time. But yeah. This is really thick. I shopped with DIY Minute Room and I like them. I think they're with super. It could be. There's a lot of shops and I don't think they're necessarily in competition with each other. They really don't. But it'd be kind of like saying, oh, this person only shops that because you shop at Hobby Lobby, you can't shop at Joann's, or you can't shop at Michael's. Now, me personally, I don't shop at Hobby Lobby. It might be. It might be because of the spackle, because the DAP stuff is super fast dry. So we're gonna get this in a bag. Once it's in a bag, it stops drying. We're gonna throw a bit of the glue in. We're gonna throw a bit of the glue in, just to save it, because yeah, this is. I think this is gonna be a super fast cure. I think I need to get a bottle, a squeeze bottle for my glue. What kind of glue? We are doing Elmer's clear glue. Regular Elmer's clear. I have not been able to find it where it's not washable, but with the other stuff in here, I'm not too worried about that. I don't think it's gonna be washable. I've already got in the product info on my site that I have not launched, but it's all set, ready to go. I just gotta get the business license. on how to take care of and clean your case, or whatever other item you get. Ooh. The noises. What's the mixture? So this is Elmer's glue, Drydex spackling, and DAP amp caulk, and gel food coloring for the color. Alright, we are gonna go ahead and throw this into a bag. Because yes, I think we are experiencing drying here. I think if I want glossy, we use much less spackling. So this is a 50-50 mix of, well, ratio of frosting to, of spackle to the DAP amp silicone. It can take some practice, but yeah, like I said, a lot of people prefer to purchase it and let someone else take all the risk. And honestly, once you've gotten it down, you're not really taking the risk anymore. One of the big things is you want to get the ratio of silicone to spackle correct, because if you do too much... Is decoden the same? This is decoden. This is do-it-yourself decoden web. And I'm kind of experimenting a bit because there aren't a whole lot of tutorials. In fact, I've only seen like the same 3 tutorials over and over on how to make it, and it's all the exact same ingredients. Never anything approaching how much you're using. So we're working with amounts where you can kind of see. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. Ooh. You look at the texture on that, though. I think this is gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be a fun one. So I don't think it necessarily matters with spackle. It might be. So this is a fast dry spackle with a dry time indicator. The first batch that I mixed up did not look all that different from other batches I've done. The silicone that you use matters, and that is what we are finding. I will finish scooping this up. I will show you the tubes that the 2 different types of silicone I've used today, and then I will show you the outcomes of the mixture with each one as a comparison for how the different silicones behave. Because there is definitely a huge difference here. Alright, so, got that in. So, it's the one I just mixed up, which was using the Drydex, which I've used Drydex before. I don't normally use the pink. I would say stay away from the pink. Unless you're gonna dye your silicone before you add in your spackle. Most people suggest that you use mica powder to color your spackle, to color your web. This is this formula here. This with a 1-to-1 ratio of the Drydex and this silicone, and about, I want to say it was about a tablespoon of Elmer's washable clear glue. And we got this. Now, my other one, and what I've been working with, looks like this. This particular color I'm going to call lavender milk tea. And that was using that Alex Plus. This is what that container looks like. All-purpose acrylics latex caulk plus silicone, so it's not pure silicone. If you are doing opaque stuff, this stuff is great. I would not recommend it for translucent projects. It does not seem to hold well enough. Yeah, this is super thick. This is super thick. We are making decadent cream. And then when I am done making cream, this is so thick. But we are going to change the ratio here. But the fact that I can just kind of pull it from the edges here to get it to drop in. And this feels, so this is kind of like if you're doing one of the traditional mixes, which tends to use air dry clay. And this is kind of like if you used too much of the air dry clay. We're gonna adjust the ratios a bit here. I'm not happy with this. And maybe we don't need nearly as much spackle as I used. Which is good. I mean, that's part of the thing is messing around and figuring out just how much you need. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, is because the tutorials I've seen never really spoke about amounts. It was like, just keep adding, just do that. Yeah, I think that might be part of it. We're gonna get some more silicone in there, see if there's any saving it. Last time I used the quick dry as well. I'm used to using the quick dry, but it doesn't usually behave like that. But I also don't usually use the one with the indicator, and that might have a difference. This is also a different type of silicone from what I usually use. So there's a number of factors that could be behind what we're seeing here. All right. I pull this out, go back to the... Oh no, we'll just use this one. Now this is gonna make the pink lighter. We're not gonna have the same pink that we had. Yeah, I like the glossy, and that's... I mean, if I hadn't had issues with doing it without putting any spackle in, or opaque ones, then I would just add dye and pipe. But I've had issues with that with some of the stuff that I've made, so I was like, that doesn't work. Stuff is so thick, it keeps bending my spatula here. Alright, we're gonna switch to my plastic spatula. Maybe I just get a really good knife for this. I think we may even throw in some more Elmer's. This one's a fight. No, but with the Alex, I usually do a 1-to-1 ratio of the spackle versus the stuff. But like we've said, there's a few things that could be behind this behavior here. Failures are where we learn. We're fine with that. This right here, yes, because we are using a different formula from what I usually use. So the first one was my standard formula, which comes out beautifully. This one is a fight. There we go. Also, fun noises for people who like those kind of noises. We're gonna say similar to macaroni and cheese noises. So the original formula, I used 2-to-1 formula of the DAF Dry Deck spackling regular. You don't have to do the one with the dry time indicator. And DAF Alex, which is acrylic latex silicone. And no glue. The glue's the other thing that's different here, but that's been added in as we go along to try and coax this into behaving better. But it could be it could just be the dry time. It could be, hey, we don't use this spackle. It's gonna be upsetting, although it did not behave like this in the other one. We just got it all out in one thing. Alright. So I think we're gonna have a quick change in plans. If I am gonna make this usable, we're gonna have to use it pretty soon here. I was gonna mix a bunch of colors, but now we are dropping this shit all over my mouse pad, and now I am upset. That's disturbing. Yeah. I might have to take this one as a loss. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna give it a go as is. And probably not do this particular formula in the future. Oh. On the plus side, I did pick up a bunch of charms yesterday at a local store that had stuff that'll work as charms. Mainly little rhinestones. The original one starts drying out within 3 hours. We have a decent amount of dry. At least with the opaque formula. With the translucent, you do not want to move it for 5 days. You move it before then, you're gonna have the silicone's gonna slip and slide. No, it's not fast drying caulk. I've used it. Well, no, it's not the spackle. It might be the different caulk. But again, I don't know. That is the biggest difference. Let's see how well this. This is very much feeling like dealing with marshmallow jet puff. We're gonna see how this works out ultimately. I think we're gonna whip out a badge holder real quick. I know I had a pre-planned out jaw clip that was gonna use pink. We'll try this with that. And we will have results. If you're gonna want to see results, I'm probably gonna post them in my Discord first, there should be a link on my bio card in my bio. Should be there. I'll have to double check to make sure I've actually got that there. And if it's not there, I've got Linktree there, and it should be linked in my Linktree. I'm praying now that it's actually a recent link, because I was notified recently that my link was dead. It's like if it did, it would take me no time to update it. Alright. We're gonna see how this behaves. We're not using super tip, since we're doing badge holders. Badge holders, you don't want the regular size tip either. You want the smaller sized tips. That is a larger tip. There is my regular. Regular sized. Where is that? Had a bag I was setting up before. Did I snip that bag? There's the bag. Alright. Get this. Got this really in there. You do want to make sure your adapters are really in so that you don't have any seepage around. You might see seepage with this stuff anyways. Alright. Built-in size 14 star tip. That's what we're going with. Pretty standard for my badge holders. We are going to quickly run through stuff for that. Some charms. Let's get the lid on this. And I've got some glitters too that we're going to throw in. We're just gonna... We're going in not planning on this one working, alright? We're gonna try, but if it doesn't work, we're not surprised. We saw the signs. Ah, that is so good. This is gonna be hell. Oh. Mistakes have been made, but I am stubborn. We are gonna stick with it for now. So, batch holder, we don't want to. I've got a load of roses. They're not using flavor. That one. Easy. Now we're gonna hope this pipes. We're gonna hope this pipes. Oh. Maybe not that baby. Maybe not the daisy. Maybe. We'll do a marshmallow heart. Alright, so. Let's... Alright. Super sweet light colors here. We're gonna hope this works. But if it doesn't, no one was surprised. Oh boy. On the tip at all. Alright. This may not actually work. This is not moving through the bag at all. It's squishy, malleable, but it is taking a lot of pressure to push. It should not be taking that kind of pressure. Oh no! That comes down at all. Alright. So that's that. This one. This one is a bust. It didn't even get through this bag. Ripped pink. Oh. I'm gonna scoop this out into a trash bag. No, we're just gonna toss this whole thing. We're just gonna toss this whole thing. We're gonna call this done done. I am gonna go clean out my my measuring cup, and I will be back. We will mix with only a little bit of spackle. That may be it, or it may be the silicone. In which case, oops. At least I've got a receipt to return the rest. And we'll just play with, I guess we'll play with the translucent. So my usual product ratio is DAP Alex, which is acrylic latex silicone. And it's usually a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts silicone to 1 part spackle. But tried a 50-50 with a different product. And well, we learned, didn't we? Quick update. This stuff, you cannot just wash with hot water and soap at all. We've got this lovely gross putty. And it is not wanting to let go of the sides of my measuring cup. So I'm gonna be a little bit longer than I planned because I've got to take care of this. This is this might need mineral spirits. Super fun thing. I was gonna ask my mom for assistance with this, but she has taken off. She's not home. I have no one to help me with my current issue here. All right. So my mom is on her way to come rescue me. We had an adventure, eye of the night. We had an adventure, and we had some misfortune in the fact that Decadent Whip should not do this. We should not do this. So I actually ended my TikTok live so I could call Mom to come rescue me from my mistakes. Because I do not have mineral spirits with me. I need mineral spirits to clean up this mess. The stuff I regularly use when I make Decadent Whip, you can wash with warm water and soap. Sorta, I broke it. Sorta. So, yeah, we are... we are now patiently waiting for my mom to come back to rescue me from the failed Decadent cream. The first cream came out wonderful. You can see it up here. This one did not like it. This one did not like it at all. But yeah. And then once I've got that fixed, because I've got this crud on my fingers, I cannot fix my TikTok link. Not my TikTok link, but my Discord link. Because I was directing people to my Discord, and my link is expired, which is upsetting. Yeah, no, that one's gonna be wrong too. I think I turned it off. That one's gonna be wrong. The one in my panels in my Twitch panels, that one's been updated, and that one is accurate. If Flux Cutie is still here, they could tell you that. yeah, so now we are just waiting for my mom to come rescue me from this. I did attempt to pipe this stuff out. We couldn't even get it to leave the bag to get into the piping tip. So at least I don't need to wreck it. I don't need to rescue that tip or replace it. The other thing it could be is I have heard over and over and over again that when you color silicone, you have to use mica powder. You can't use like gel food coloring. I did use gel food coloring, but I have not had this experience with my previous ones. I have the night. If you are able to hop onto my TikTok and drop that over there, I don't know if I have the same people back that were here earlier. If they are, they'd be able to grab the proper one. I know there were a few people that were a little bit invested in what was going on here. And I hope I wasn't off very long. I called my mom very short call. Yes. I would appreciate that. On the other hand, I got this putty-like stuff to play with for now. Like I blended an adipose. We love that. We love that. Oh. Holy crud. I'm gonna, pick up this one. Hi, Mom. Okay. Any chance it's in the garage? That would help. That would help a lot. I'm currently playing with my putty. It's like a really messed up putty. Because I figure if I can keep it wet, it will be easier to get it off my hands than if it dries. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. I appreciate it. We're working our way through. That's fine at this point. Fine at this point. Alright. I hope not. Yeah. Love you, bye. Alright. So we will see Mom shortly. Hopefully we can, save this mess. Not save the stuff that I made. There's no saving. There's no saving this. This is... It's been so long since I have failed so spectacularly that it's amusing. It's amusing. I am actually enjoying this. So, Beth, I was making my own decadent cream. As you know, I regularly make mine, but I changed up my, my formula and ended up with this. This is not decadent cream. So I am currently waiting for my mother to come rescue me from my mess here. And, we do have one using my regular formula that has turned out great. We're gonna call this color, lavender milk tea, or lavender milk. Lavender milk. This isn't even like the big amount that was in my bag. Thought I could stick around and hang out, but I've been up too long and falling asleep. Well, thank you for hanging out, Flux Cutie. Appreciate it. This has been an adventure. Oh god, this stuff's starting to dry. 5 minutes is a very long time when things are not going right. It's crumbling more. So yeah, this, if I had managed to pipe this out, what we're seeing here, this stuff crumbles a lot. I think what we're seeing is it seized. It definitely seized. It could have been the food coloring. So we are going to, once this is cleaned up, we're going to give it another shot. And we are going to try adding in We're gonna skip the spackle, go straight to color, leave it at just color, and see if we see this same result. If we still see the same result, we know it's the silicone, and I can return my other tubes and never ever touch that stuff again. It's a mistake. We'll go back to G silicone 2 for my translucent, and I will stick with DAP Alex for my opaque. This is just crumbling more and more. Alright. Ava, you missed it. You missed it. I failed spectacularly. We have the results right here that I cannot wash out of my mixing bucket. It is very, very sad. God, all over everything. My mom is actually currently on her way to come rescue me. It is. Also, the placement of my chat bubbles over there are terrible and I need to move them. And my captions have broken. Gonna eat me? Nah, it's not gonna eat me. It's falling apart. Falling apart. Somebody Sonics it. Is this the G brand opaque silicone you are using right now? No, this is not the G brand. So this is different from what I usually use. It is DAP, but it's not my regular DAP. Where did my gun go? Where'd my caulk gun go? I set my caulk gun down and now I can't find it. There it is. So, this is the stuff that I used this time, which is different. It's supposed to be paintable. So it should have been fine with the dye. It's something in my mix was wrong. I don't normally throw in Elmer's glue. It could be the glue. Just something somewhere. Great. So, you were able to get the majority of that off my hands using peanut butter. Peanut butter. This is where we're sitting after that. Peanut butter. I don't think I'm gonna use peanut butter on this. I think my plan today might be a wash with how this turned out. Which, I mean, it happens, right? I'm back. We have successfully cleared out all of the stuff. Like, completely cleaned out. Look. It is completely off the hands. Almost completed it a little bit. But not nearly what there was. That's acceptable there. And that's acceptable for that. So, we're gonna try round 2. We're gonna do much less spackle. And, we're gonna try doing this a little bit different. See if we can figure out where it fell apart. I think it fell apart with the spackle, actually. But it was doing good. It was doing good, and then we added the spackle. So, that's a little concerning. We'll see. We'll see. I think we're gonna do much less of the spackle here. Much, much less. It might be this. It might be this. The silicone. Just based on behavior. Here. My caulking gun. Because I'm seeing behavior there that I haven't seen with my stuff before. We'll see. We're gonna start with just adding the dye in after the issues we had earlier. Things were going well until I added it back. So we'll do is the dye. We'll let it set a moment, see if we see it seizing. If we do not see it seizing, then we know it was the spackle. But you would think that you're able to paint, you'd be able to mix your color in. So, let's see. So, this is where we were at earlier color-wise and consistency before I added in the spackle, where I was sitting and I was like, hey, this reminds me of Marshmallow Jet Puff. Which, I mean, this right here is too runny. But I'm also seeing a lot of bubbles that I don't normally see with my regular stuff that I use. I'm very suspicious of this with how it's behaving. What we've got here. We're gonna let it sit a moment, which is sometimes a challenge for me. We're gonna let it sit. Check on it. And see if it seizes. If it's this, we ought to know real fast. Now, with how this is looking currently, I don't think I need to add anything to get the gloss that I've been going. At least that's the plan. See how it goes. Over. That's better. Oh. I'm being impatient. As fast as we saw the seas happen, though, if that's what it is... Yeah, this is still too runny to work as is. I'm just nervous about adding in this spackle. I think it's the spackle that did it. Either the spackle or the glue. This is not holding. This is like a very runny taffy right now. This says about dry time. Will not crack, crumble, or flake. Well, what we saw was definitely crumble. See, this is supposed to cure completely in 1 to 5 hours. Just the spackle being used as spackle. Not used on floors or as a caulk sealant or joint filler over cracks and for expansion and contraction may occur. My other one didn't have these warnings. So, that means we move to our next thing. We see if this is going to be too runny as is. Because reading this provided the answer. I do not know what I'm going to do with all of this shit. Oh. But at least we have an answer. So, right X with our time indicator. Not it. All right. So, move on. Fine. That was very, very disappointing. But now we have the answers. I need to find for that. I got that handled. I knew I'd forgotten some. Now that we've got that. No, just making a color. We did a mix earlier as far as components that did not work out. And we are now working on one where we're not doing. So basically, I mixed up some whip that failed. It seized. It seized because of my spackle. So we are now working without the spackle, which is its own nerve-wracking thing because this is much runnier than I'm used to working with. Not as runny as my black was that I made. We'll see. See how this turns out overall. We're making decadent cream. I am skipping the spackle step in making mine today because I do not have the right spackle. I learned the hard way. Huge mess because of it. You're trying the straight silicone again. Is it cheaper than buying? The learning process is definitely not cheaper. Once you've got it down, it should be. I mean, it depends on where you buy from. Depends on how long you're willing to wait. Depends on how much control you want over the end texture of it. How do you make this? So typically how I usually make my decadent cream is I use DAP Alex, which is acrylic latex silicone. Well, acrylic latex plus silicone. And then I add in, it's about a 1-to-2 ratio of DAP to, of the DAP Alex to DAP spackle, which is usually their dry decks, but not the one with the dry time indicator. It's what I had today, and I suspect maybe where things failed. So what I use when I am using the Alex DAP is I use Wilton's food gels. I know everywhere on the internet says that not to use them because it won't cure or it'll seize. With the DAP Alex, I have not had that experience. I will say you will not get bold colors necessarily. If you're using the white, expect pastels. If you use translucent, you can get pretty bold, but it will be translucent. I'm not sure that it's necessarily a faster drying time with spackle, but it is a harder dry. And that can be important all on its own. All on its own. But yeah, no. Was disaster earlier. I think I've spent like the last hour cleaning up. First cleaning up my hands. Well, first waiting for help to arrive, because I did not dare open my door, and then washing my hands, and then washing my implements. Now we are trying this that I'm nervous about this time because that's how runny it came out. It's not runny like my black. It's still really runny. We're gonna see if it holds form at all. My concern with this particular mix is that it won't hold any form. We're gonna find out. Gonna do a real type on this one. Jeez. It is so runny. Did you rough up the surface? On these I haven't needed to. I haven't had any major issues with that. What I have had issues is with people being rough with theirs to begin with. Because they're not meant to deal with friction. Now, the issue I had earlier wasn't with that, it was with the mix I made itself. It seized. Which was a first. I've never had stuff seize, but I did use a different type of silicone from what I usually use. And a different type of spackle from what I usually use. I'm skipping the spackle. And this is very much a different texture from what I use. Like, really different texture. Very pretty color. Easy to work with. That being this messy. I don't know about this one. One may not turn out, but like I said earlier, when I had the earlier, it just isn't thick enough. I usually do reusable bags. After a few uses, they need to be disposed because they're worn down from scraping down the cream. Yeah, I haven't had that issue with my decoden. The issue I've had... The spackle does generally make it thicker, but like I said, the spackle I picked up this last time was not the right stuff, and so we had issues from that. Like this. I don't like this formula. It's looking cute, but I don't like the formula. I've got some trust issues with this. Now it's not seizing. But also, it's very runny. And I don't know if it was adding in the glue that I normally skip or if it was adding the spackle that caused it to seize last time. I'm gonna grab a strawberry milk, throw it on this. If this exceeds, it's strawberry milk, but I'm not... Probably gonna be a Clarence one. I think we have established that it's a mixture of issues. It could be strictly the dried eggs. I did not have the issue with the dried eggs that I have. Okay, I was basically. Also, it's runny, sticky. I'm gonna solidly at the south to the rest of it. Now figure out how to. So at this point, we're gonna sit here all day yet for today because I have got to take off yet again to go clean this. But I mean, it's no. So thank you for hanging out. We will continue this saga later with another attempt at making stuff that works properly. We liked the first one. We're gonna do a run to see how that works. I'll be going live tomorrow, roughly the same time I went live today, to do some more. So, thank you to everyone who stopped by. If it's your first time here, be sure to like, subscribe, do all those good things. You can find me on TikTok at Skylar McIver, and you can find me on Twitch at Sky McIver, and then over on YouTube at Cute Cake Cases. So, thank you for hanging out. Sometimes it just don't work. Catch you later.